Welcome to Voices of Women Summit 2025. I have the amazing Andrea McLean here. This is fabulous. And Andrea is coming in to us to talk about the fearless self-promotion, how women can own our value.
Thank you so much, Judy, for having me on your stage. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited to be here to talk about this important conversation. So I know this personally in terms of self-promotion or lack of self-promotion, because I struggled in my career to share my accomplishments. And I was raised with the belief that you should be humble, that you shouldn't brag, and that your hard work would be enough to get you recognized. And for a while it was working, I hesitated to speak up for my own accomplishments. And early in my career, everything was working fine. I got 4 successive promotions, so I thought I was doing everything the right way. But I noticed as I climbed the ladder that when I stayed silent about my achievements, I was leaving opportunities on the table. And then one day I heard a woman speaking on this topic, and she said that instead of thinking, I don't want to brag, we should tell ourselves, I'm sharing valuable information. And that was such a paradigm shift for me. And it just made it easier for me to reframe self-promotion as sharing value and informing others about how my work could benefit the team and the organization. And that actually gave me the courage to speak up to a senior leader and to let her know that I now had my coaching credentials, which then led to the opportunity for me to coach women across the globe in a women's leadership program. Had I not self-promoted, that would never have happened at all, because she wouldn't have even known that I had those credentials. So that's why I'm passionate about this topic. And that's why I coach women on how they can talk about their successes in a way that feels natural for them. So I'd love to get a sense, Judy, of the experiences of those listening in the audience. So if you've ever felt hesitant to share your accomplishments, can you put a yes in the chat for me?
The chat is blowing up with yes, my dear.
Yeah, which is why I'm passionate about this topic, because many of us have been conditioned to believe that our work should speak for itself. But the truth is that the work doesn't speak. It's people who speak. And if we don't advocate for ourselves, we risk being overlooked. And interestingly, a study of over 10,000 students found that by 6th grade, girls were already rating their performance lower than boys, even when their abilities were equal. And so these societal influences stick with us into adulthood, and it makes it all the more important for us to challenge these internalized beliefs and actively advocate for ourselves. And even going on further, a survey by Indeed found that 73% of women fear how they will be perceived when they're self-promoting. So we're also afraid to do it. And it makes us hesitant, and it affects our career progression. So I wanted to share some practical tips about how we can talk about our accomplishments and self-promote and get seen. Number 1, communicate your value with confidence. One simple framework that I love is I did X, which resulted in Y. And it makes it easy to communicate the impact without feeling like you're boasting. For example, instead of saying I was part of a project that increased revenue, you could say, I led a marketing campaign that boosted revenue by 25% in 3 months. Do you see the difference? The second statement is clear, specific, and demonstrates value. Another important shift is using I statements. As women, we often default to saying we when discussing accomplishments, which can unintentionally mask their individual contributions. And while it's great to be a team player, but it's equally important to own your work. So instead of saying we improved client retention, you can say, I developed a client engagement strategy that increased retention by 20%. You're not diminishing the teamwork, you're just accurately reflecting your role. And then another thing is seek out some visible projects and leadership roles so that you have an opportunity that aligns with your skills and you can step up and get involved. Because the more you put yourself out there where your strengths are on display, the more natural self-promotion will become. Number 2, use the power of storytelling. Stories make your achievements relatable and memorable. And a great method is the challenge, action, result framework. So the challenge, what's the problem? The action, what did you specifically do? And then the result, what happened because of your efforts? Again, another example, instead of saying, I improved employee engagement, you might say, our company struggled with low employee morale. I created a mentorship program, and within 6 months, engagement scores increased by 40%. This way, you're not just listing out an achievement, you're telling a compelling story. And if it feels unnatural to do this, you can offer to present a team update where you can naturally highlight your work, or you can send a progress summary to your manager, making sure that you highlight your specific key contributions. Then number 3, networking and personal branding. You've most likely heard the saying that your network is your net worth, but network isn't just about collecting business cards. It's about building genuine relationships. And you can do this effectively a few ways. You can approach networking with curiosity. Ask others about their work and listen for any connections that you can make. Also, enlist allies and advocates. Let trusted colleagues and mentors know about your work. Because what's interesting is that when peers and leaders highlight your contributions, it carries extra weight. Next, you can practice confident communication. Speak with clarity and assurance. And avoid hedging phrases like, I kind of did. Instead, state your achievements with confidence. And then follow up authentically. A quick LinkedIn message after a virtual event can lead to future opportunities. Now, you might face some challenges while you begin to self-promote, especially if it feels unnatural to you. Some people may label you as too ambitious or too direct, but you can try responding with, I believe in advocating for my work and my contributions. And then if you feel imposter syndrome creeping in, remind yourself that you've earned a place in that conversation. Also, keep a record of your achievements. People call it a brag file. It's the accomplishments, the feedback you've received, the metrics for projects that you've accomplished, because then you'll have specific examples that are ready when opportunities show up for self-promotion. So my call to action for you today is, if you take one thing away today, I want you to remember that self-promotion is not about bragging. It's about ensuring that your contributions are seen and valued. So take one action this week. Either share a success story or update your LinkedIn profile even. Make sure that your work is being recognized. And that's also about finding our voice. We have to find our voice to elevate the things that we've done. Believe in yourself. Advocate for yourself, state your accomplishments, promote yourself. It will help you to move forward, whether it's in your career, your personal life. Go ahead, do it. Self-promote.